Welcome back to Cowboard Castaways. Are you ready to shuffle up and deal with some monster knowledge?
Sounds like someone's got a case of the monster munchies.
Oh, you know I do. I could go for a Blue Eyes White Dragon burger right about now. But seriously, folks, today we're diving deep into the monster-filled world of Yu-Gi-Oh!
That's right, we're going to break down all those magnificent monsters, from the basic normal monsters to the crazy powerful link monsters.
Ooh, my fuzzy brain's ready to absorb some serious monster know-how. So tell me, what kinds of monster cards are we dealing with here? What are the heavy hitters?
Well, think of your deck as a toolbox filled with different monster types, each with their own unique skills and powers.
Ooh, I like that. A toolbox of dueling destruction. So what's the most basic tool in our monster arsenal?
That would be the normal monsters. They're like the trusty hammer in your toolbox. Simple, reliable, and ready to strike with raw ATK and DEF. No fancy effects, just pure monster muscle.
Ah, the classic brawlers. Like my pal, the Blue Eyes White Dragon. All brawn, no glitter.
Exactly. But some duelists prefer a bit more finesse. That's where effect monsters come in.
Ooh, effect monsters. Those sound a little more my style. What makes them so special?
Effect monsters are like those multi-tools with a gadget for every situation. They have unique effects that can turn the tide of a duel. Some can destroy cards, others can boost your stats, and some can even mess with your opponent's strategy.
Tricky. So they're like those magic tricks where you pull a rabbit out of a hat. Except instead of a fluffy bunny, it's a game-changing effect.
You could say that.
Mhm.
Now, on top of your normal and effect monsters, you've got several special types: fusion, ritual, synchro, XYZ, and link monsters.
Hold on. My fuzzy brain can only handle so much monster mayhem at once. Let's break it down one monster type at a time. First up, fusion monsters. They sound like a real blast. What makes them stand out from the crowd?
Fusion monsters are created by, well, fusing two or more monsters together. It's like blending a delicious smoothie, but instead of fruit, you're using monsters.
A monster smoothie. I'm already intrigued.
You use a spell card, usually polymerization, and the right combination of monsters listed on the fusion monster card.
So it's like a monster recipe. You combine the right ingredients and bam, you get a super-powered fusion monster.
That's a great way to put it. Now, if you're looking for a more ceremonial approach, we have ritual monsters. They're like ancient deities requiring a specific ritual spell card and tributes to summon them.
Tributes. Are we talking about those fancy award shows? Because I've got my acceptance speech ready.
Not quite. In Yu-Gi-Oh!, tributes are monsters from your hand or field that you offer as sacrifices to summon a more powerful monster.
So it's like offering a peace offering to the monster gods.
You could say that. And speaking of specific requirements, let's talk about synchro monsters. These guys are all about speed and precision. They enter the field by combining a tuner monster with one or more non-tuner monsters.
A tuner monster. Is that like a special tuning fork for summoning monsters? You hit it and they just appear.
Haha, not quite a tuning fork, but they do have special properties that allow for synchro summons. You need to match their levels to determine the level of the synchro monster you can summon. Think of it like finding the perfect harmony between two instruments.
Ooh, a monster symphony. I can hear the music now.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got fusion, ritual, and synchro. What other monster marvels await?
Next up, we have XYZ monsters. These layered powerhouses are summoned by stacking two or more monsters of the same level on top of each other.
Like a delicious monster parfait. What happens to the monsters underneath? Do they get squished?
No squishing involved. They become XYZ materials attached to the XYZ monster. Some XYZ monsters even use their materials to activate powerful effects.
So they're like a monster cheerleading squad boosting each other to victory.
And last but certainly not least, we have link monsters. They're like the masters of battlefield control.
Ooh, battlefield control. Sounds strategic.
Each link monster has arrows pointing to different zones on the field. These arrows are key to their strategic power, as they can open up extra monster zones for you or restrict your opponent's options.
So it's like a game of monster darts. Aim for the bullseye.
You could say that. To summon a link monster, you need to tribute monsters from your field that match the link monster's link rating and link materials.
Sounds like you need a monster GPS to navigate all those arrows.
Oh, and I almost forgot. We also have those mysterious pendulum monsters.
Pendulum monsters. Those sound intriguing. What makes them so special?
Well, for starters, they can be played as both monsters and spell cards.
Hold on. They can be two things at once. That's like a monster with a secret identity.
Exactly. They're like double agents working both sides of the field. They each have a pendulum scale. You activate them in your pendulum zones, and then you can special summon a whole bunch of monsters from your hand as long as their levels fall within the range set by your pendulum scales.
Wait. They can summon other monsters? That's incredible. They're like monster talent scouts, finding the best recruits for your dueling team.
Haha, that's one way to put it.
Okay, I'm trying to keep up here. Normal monsters, effect monsters, fusion, ritual, synchro, XYZ, link, and pendulum monsters. Phew, my Muppet noggin is swimming with monster knowledge.
Don't worry, it's a lot to take in. But hey, that's what makes Yu-Gi-Oh! So much fun.
It's like a monster buffet, and I'm ready to feast.
Well, that's a wrap for this segment of our Monster Mashup.
Stay tuned, duelists. We'll be back after a short break with even more monster madness.
Welcome back to Cardboard Castaways, where the cards clash and the monsters, well, they kind of just stand there menacingly.
Unless they're attacking.
Eh.
Last time, we unboxed a whole toy chest full of monster types. Normal, effect, fusion, ritual. Oh, and who could forget those two-timing pendulum monsters?
It's a veritable monster menagerie, but knowing their names is like just reading the character bios before the movie starts.
Ooh, good analogy.
Yeah.
So how do we make these monster stars shine on the big screen?
Summoning. It's the director's call the moment each monster makes their grand entrance.
Ooh, I love a good entrance. Tell me more about this summoning magic.
There are two main types of summoning, normal summoning and special summoning. Normal summoning is like your everyday monster call. You can do it once per turn, no fuss, no muss.
So like ordering takeout.
Well, you do have to consider the level of the monster you want to summon, level 4 or lower, no problem. Just plop him down on the field, face up in attack position or face down in defense position.
Easy peasy. But what about those high-level monsters, the real A-listers?
Ah, those divas, they need a bit more convincing.
Convincing. Do we need to offer them a backstage pass to the Monster Mash concert?
Huh, even
Yeah.
better, you offer tributes.
Tributes, you mean other monsters.
Precisely. To summon a level 5 or 6 monster, you send one monster you control to the graveyard.
Ooh, bit dramatic, don't you think?
And for level 7 or higher, 2 of your monsters must make the ultimate sacrifice.
Talk about a tough crowd. But hey, I guess that's showbiz. Now what about special summoning? Is that like getting a last-minute guest star appearance?
Now you're getting it. Special summoning bypasses the regular rules of normal summoning, letting you bring out those monster VIPs in some pretty spectacular ways.
Ooh, this sounds juicy. Tell me more.
It all depends on the monster type. Fusion monsters, for instance, are summoned by fusing 2 or more monsters together. It's like monster alchemy.
So you're saying if I mix a dragon with a warrior, I could end up with a dragon warrior.
Haha. You never know what kind of crazy combinations you'll come up with. But to perform a fusion summon, you'll need a spell card, usually polymerization, and the right combination of monsters listed on the fusion monster card. Each fusion monster is like a unique recipe, with specific ingredients needed.
Oh, so it's like a monster cooking show. What about those Stuki ritual monsters? Do they require a blood sacrifice or something?
No blood sacrifices, thankfully, but you do need a specific ritual spell card and the correct number of tributes. Think of it like summoning a spirit from another realm.
Ooh, I love a good seance. So no chanting or dancing around a bonfire is required.
Haha, no need for that. But the key is having the right ritual spell and tributes.
Speaking of special requirements, what about those speedy synchro monsters? Do they come with their own pit crew?
Not quite a pit crew, but they do need a tuner monster and 1 or more non-tuner monsters. Their levels need to add up to the level of the synchro monster you want to summon.
Ah, it's a numbers game.
Yeah,
So you got to make sure your monsters are in tune with each other, like a well-rehearsed band.
that's a great way to put it. Once you have the right combination, send those synchro materials to the graveyard, and your synchro monster bursts onto the scene from the extra deck, ready to rock.
From high-speed Synchros to stacked XYZ monsters. What's the scoop on those towering titans?
XYZ monsters are summoned by layering 2 or more monsters of the same level in the extra monster zone.
It's like building a monster tower. The higher you go, the stronger it gets.
The monsters you stack become XYZ materials, and some XYZ monsters can use those materials to unleash devastating attacks or game-changing effects.
Ooh, it's like they draw power from their fallen comrades.
Oh.
Kind of morbid, but also kind of cool.
Now, for those of you who like to strategize and control the battlefield, we have link monsters.
Link monsters, they sound techy. Do they come with their own Wi-Fi connection?
Haha, not quite. But they do have these cool link arrows pointing to different zones on the field. These arrows can open up extra monster zones for you, or even block your opponent from summoning monsters in certain areas.
Ooh, like they're setting up roadblocks for your opponent's monsters.
Exactly. They're all about controlling the flow of the duel. To summon a link monster, you need to tribute monsters from your field that match the link monster's link rating and link materials.
It sounds like a lot of planning is involved.
It is. Every move counts with link monsters. And of course, we can't forget about those two-faced pendulum monsters.
Yes, those double-dipping dynamos. Remind me again, how do those work?
Pendulum monsters can be played as both monsters and spell cards. They each have a pendulum scale, which you activate in your pendulum zones. These scales set a range of levels, and you can special summon any monster from your hand whose level falls within that range.
Wow. It's like they open up a portal to another dimension and summon a whole army of monsters.
And if that wasn't cool enough, when a pendulum monster is destroyed, it goes face up to your extra deck instead of the graveyard, ready to be activated again later.
So they're like those boomerang toys, always coming back for more.
Exactly. Pendulum monsters add a whole new layer of strategy and versatility to your duels.
Okay, I'm officially blown away. Normal summoning, special summoning, fusion, ritual, synchro, XYZ, link, and pendulum monsters. It's a lot to absorb, but it's all so fascinating.
You said it. And we're just scratching the surface of what these summoning methods can do.
Well, folks, we've covered a lot of ground today, but there's still so much more to explore in the world of Yu-Gi-Oh! Monsters.
We'll be back after a short break to dive even deeper into these summoning techniques.
Welcome back to Cardboard Castaways, Duelists. Are you ready to unleash some serious monster mayhem?
You bet. It's time to dive even deeper into the awesome world of special summoning.
All right. I'm all fired up and ready to learn how to bring out those monster superstars.
Well then, let's start with those flashy fusion monsters. Remember, fusion summoning is all about combining two or more monsters to create something truly extraordinary.
Right. Like mixing and matching monster parts to create the ultimate dueling machine.
You got it. You need the right spell card, usually polymerization, and the correct combination of monsters listed on the fusion monster card. Each fusion monster is like a unique recipe.
So I gotta make sure I have all the right ingredients before I start cooking up a fusion monster.
Exactly. Once you have everything you need, you fuse those monsters together and bam! You've got a fusion monster ready to dominate the duel.
Fusion monsters are like the gourmet meals of the monster world.
Haha, I like that. Now let's move on to those ancient and powerful ritual monsters. They're a bit more traditional when it comes to summoning.
Traditional? You mean like they follow a strict dress code, no sneakers allowed?
Haha, not quite. Ritual monsters require a specific ritual spell card and the correct number of tributes.
Right. The monster sacrifice. Gotta pay the toll to summon those big baddies.
Exactly. So find the right ritual spell, gather your tributes, and summon forth those ancient powerhouses.
From ancient rituals to high-speed summoning. Let's talk about those synchro monsters. They're like the race cars of the monster world, right?
That's a great analogy. Synchro monsters are all about speed and precision. To summon them, you need a tuner monster and one or more non-tuner monsters whose levels add up to the level of the synchro monster you want to summon.
So it's like a monster math equation. Gotta make sure those levels are in sync.
You got it. Once you have the right combinations, send those synchro materials to the graveyard, and your synchro monster will zoom onto the field from the extra deck.
From high-speed synchros to those towering XYZ monsters. They're like the skyscrapers of the monster world.
XYZ monsters are all about stacking power. To summon them, you take two or more monsters of the same level and stack them neatly in the extra monster zone.
Like building a monster Jenga tower.
Haha, sort of. The monsters you stack become XYZ materials, which can be used to activate the XYZ monster's special abilities.
It's like they're drawing power from each other, forming an unstoppable force.
Now, if you're a fan of strategy and controlling the battlefield, then you'll love Link monsters. They're all about taking charge and dictating the flow of the duel.
Ooh, Link monsters sound like my kind of monsters. Strategic and in control. Tell me more.
Each Link monster has Link arrows that point to different zones on the field. These arrows can open up extra monster zones for you, restrict your opponent's summoning options, or even disrupt their combos.
So it's like playing monster chess. Every move counts.
Exactly. To summon a Link monster, you need to tribute monsters from your field that match the Link monster's Link rating and Link materials.
It's like solving a monster puzzle. You need to find the right pieces to complete the picture.
And of course, we can't forget about those mysterious pendulum monsters, the masters of duality.
Ah, yes, the monsters with a double life. They can be both monsters and spell cards, right?
That's right. Pendulum monsters each have a pendulum scale. You activate them in your pendulum zones, and then you can special summon any monster from your hand whose level falls within the range set by those scales.
It's like having a monster portal that summons an army of allies.
And the best part, when a pendulum monster is destroyed, it goes face up to your extra deck instead of the graveyard, ready to be activated again later.
So there are like monster boomerangs, always coming back for more. Okay, I think my brain is officially overloaded with monster knowledge.
Don't worry, it takes time to learn all the ins and outs of summoning.
Well, folks, we've explored the depths of Yu-Gi-Oh! Monster cards, from their different types to the amazing ways you can summon them.
Remember, the key to mastering Yu-Gi-Oh! Is to keep experimenting, keep learning, and most importantly, keep dueling.
That's right. The world of Yu-Gi-Oh! Is constantly evolving, with new cards and strategies being discovered all the time. So grab your decks, gather your friends, and get ready to duel.
Until next time, duelists, may your decks be full of powerful monsters, your hearts filled with the spirit of the cards, and your duels be legendary.
So long, card sharks. Catch you on the flip side.